Welcome to the A1 Engine Repair Practice Question video. This video covers 5 original practice questions aligned to the ASE A1 exam. Each question will be presented with 4 answer choices. After a brief pause, the correct answer and explanation will be revealed. Let's begin.
Question 1. A 2016 Toyota Camry with a 2.5-liter 2ARFE engine sets DTC P0016, crankshaft position, camshaft position correlation, bank 1 sensor A. The check engine lamp is illuminated, and the engine idles roughly with a slight tick. Scan tool data shows the actual camshaft position angle oscillating several degrees and failing to track the commanded VVTI target at idle. Yet the oil control valve command feedback test passes, and solenoid resistance is within spec. The technician rotates the crankshaft to number 1 TDC on the compression stroke and observes the timing mark shown in the diagram. The crank pulley notch lines up with the 0 mark on the timing cover, but the exhaust cam sprocket timing mark is offset, approximately 1/2 clockwise from the timing cover reference notch. Which is the most likely cause? Your answer choices are: Choice A. The ECM needs a calibration/software reflash to correct the camshaft target table. Choice B. The timing chain has jumped 1 tooth on the exhaust cam sprocket, or the chain is stretched beyond limit. Choice C. The crankshaft position sensor reluctor ring has slipped on the crankshaft. Choice D. The VVTI oil control valve filter is restricted, starving the phaser of oil.
The correct answer is B. The timing chain has jumped 1 tooth on the exhaust cam sprocket, or the chain is stretched beyond limit. P0016 indicates the ECM sees a mismatch between crank and cam position. Because the VVTI electrical/hydraulic command test passes, the problem is mechanical. With the crank correctly set to number 1 TDC compression, crank pulley aligned to 0, but the cam sprocket mark off by 1 tooth, the cam-to-crank relationship is mechanically wrong, the classic signature of a jumped or stretched timing chain. A stretched or jumped chain shifts the cam phasing, causing rough idle, the correlation DTC, and the misaligned marks observed. Choice A is incorrect because a software reflash cannot correct a physical misalignment of the cam timing marks. The VVT command test already passed, ruling out an ECM target issue. Choice C is incorrect because a slipped reluctor ring would corrupt the crank signal, but would not change the physical alignment of the cam sprocket timing mark at number 1 TDC compression. The mechanical mark mismatch rules this out. Choice D is incorrect because a restricted OCV filter would affect VVT phaser response and would be caught by the oil control valve command and feedback test, which passed.
Question 2. A technician is inspecting the valve springs removed from a 5.7-liter Hemi V8 cylinder head during a rebuild and needs to verify spring squareness. Which procedure is correct? Your answer choices are: Choice A. Measure the spring's overall free length with a vernier caliper and compare it to the published specification. Choice B. Stand the spring on a surface plate against a machinist's square and measure the maximum gap between the spring and the square with a feeler gauge. Choice C. Compress the spring in a valve spring tester and read the load at the specified installed height. Choice D. Roll the spring across a flat surface and reject it only if it visibly wobbles. Take a moment to consider your answer. The correct answer will be revealed next. The correct answer is B. Stand the spring on a surface plate against a machinist's square and measure the maximum gap between the spring and the square with a feeler gauge. Squareness checks whether the spring's ends are perpendicular to its axis. A cocked spring causes uneven seat pressure and side loading on the guide. The standard procedure is to place the spring on a flat surface plate against a machinist's square and measure the maximum gap between the spring body and the square with a feeler gauge, then compare to the service limit.
Choice A is incorrect because measuring free length checks the spring's free height, not squareness. A spring can be the correct length yet still be cocked. Choice C is incorrect because compressing in a tester and reading load at installed height checks spring pressure, seat load, not squareness. Choice D is incorrect because rolling and eyeballing is only a crude qualitative check and does not quantify the out-of-square amount against a spec.
Question 3. During a 2014 Chevrolet Silverado 5.3L L83 V8 engine rebuild, the technician micrometers the number 4 connecting rod journal. Using the measurement location shown in the diagram, two planes 90 degrees apart, taken at the front and rear of the journal, the readings are front 0 degrees, 53.34 millimeters, front 90 degrees, 53.42 millimeters, rear 0 degrees, 53.36 millimeters, and rear 90 degrees, 53.44 millimeters. Specification: standard journal diameter 53.34 millimeters. Maximum service out of round 0.015 millimeters. Maximum taper 0.013 millimeters per inch of journal length. Maximum wear from standard 0.025 millimeters. Which action is correct? Your answer choices are: Choice A, reuse the crankshaft. All readings are within service limits. Choice B, grind the journal to the next undersize and fit the matching undersize bearings. Choice C, replace the connecting rod bearings with standard size bearings and polish the journals only. Choice D, polish the journal to remove the taper and reuse standard bearings.
The correct answer is B. Grind the journal to the next undersize and fit the matching undersize bearings. Out of round at the front equals 53.42 minus 53.34 equals 0.08 millimeters, which far exceeds the 0.015 millimeter limit. Out of round at the rear equals 53.44 minus 53.36 equals 0.08 millimeters, also over limit. The largest reading, 53.44 millimeters, also exceeds the maximum allowable wear from standard of 53.34 plus 0.025 equals 53.365 millimeters. Because the journal is both out of round and worn beyond the standard diameter wear limit, it cannot be reused at standard size. It must be precision ground to the next available undersize and paired with the corresponding undersize bearings. Choice A is incorrect because out of round is 0.08 millimeters versus a 0.015 millimeter limit, and the 53.44 millimeter reading exceeds the max wear from standard of 53.365 millimeters. Choice C is incorrect because standard size bearings with the journal at 53.44 millimeters would leave excessive oil clearance. Polishing cannot remove 0.10 millimeters of out of round or oversize without going undersize. Choice D is incorrect because polishing removes only microscopic surface material. It cannot restore roundness or reduce the diameter to a correct undersize, so standard bearings would still be loose.
Question 4. A 2018 Subaru Outback 2.5L is brought in for recurring low coolant and a sweet odor in the cabin, with no visible coolant under the hood or on the garage floor. The technician pressure tests the cooling system to 13 psi. Spec: must hold within 1 psi drop over 1 minute. The gauge drops about 2 psi in 1 minute. After adding UV dye and repressurizing, the technician inspects with a UV light. As shown in the diagram, bright dye traces accumulate on the passenger side carpet near the HVAC case, and the dye is strongest at the HVAC case drain seam. The radiator cap, upper and lower radiator hoses, water pump weep hole, and both head gasket deck surfaces are dry and dye-free. Which is the most likely source of the leak? Your answer choices are: A, a weak radiator pressure cap that is bleeding coolant past the seal. B, the water pump, leaking from the weep hole. C. The heater core, leaking internally into the HVAC case. D. A blown cylinder head gasket leaking coolant into a combustion chamber. Take a moment to consider your answer. The correct answer will be revealed next.
The correct answer is C. The heater core, leaking internally into the HVAC case. The classic signs of an internal heater core leak are coolant loss with a sweet odor inside the cabin and damp carpet on the passenger side with no external leaks under the hood. The pressure test confirms a leak, exceeds the 1 psi per minute spec, and the UV dye localizes it to the HVAC case drain area, exactly where the heater core sits, while the radiator cap, hoses, water pump weep hole, and head gasket surfaces are dye-free. That pattern uniquely identifies the heater core as the leak source. Choice A is incorrect because a weak radiator cap would vent coolant to the overflow or recovery tank or around the cap neck and would show dye there, not inside the HVAC case. The cap was dry. Choice B is incorrect because a water pump leak shows dye at the weep hole, inspection mirror at the front of the engine. The weep hole was dry and dye-free. Choice D is incorrect because a head gasket leak into a combustion chamber typically shows coolant loss without cabin odor, often with combustion gas in the coolant, block test, bubbles in the radiator, or steam from the tailpipe, none of which are described, and the deck surfaces were dye-free.
Question 5. A 2020 Honda Accord 1.5-liter turbo is in for an oil and filter change. The underhood label and owner's manual specify SAE 0W20 full synthetic engine oil, with a refill capacity with filter of 3.4 liters. After draining the old oil, replacing the filter, and refilling 3.4 liters of 0W20, the technician starts the engine, lets it run to fill the filter, shuts it off, waits, and rechecks the dipstick. Which action correctly completes the service? Your choices are: Choice A, top off to the full mark using 5W30 conventional oil since ambient temperature is warm. Choice B, verify the dipstick reads at the full mark, top off with 0W20 as needed, then reset the engine oil life maintenance minder to 100%. Choice C, add an aftermarket engine flush chemical before the next oil change to clean deposits. Choice D, fill only to the low mark to leave room for thermal expansion of the oil. Take a moment to consider your answer. The correct answer will be revealed next.
The correct answer is B. Verify the dipstick reads at the full mark, top off with 0W20 as needed, then reset the engine oil life maintenance minder to 100%. Correct service is to refill with the viscosity specified by the manufacturer, 0W20 full synthetic for this Accord 1.5-liter turbo. Confirm the dipstick level after running the engine to fill the filter, top off to the full mark with the same 0W20, and reset the Honda oil life maintenance minder to 100%, so the next service interval is tracked accurately. Substituting a different viscosity or underfilling is incorrect, and flush chemicals are not a standard part of this service unless specified. Choice A is incorrect because Honda specifies 0W20 for this engine regardless of warm ambient temperature. Substituting 5W30 can affect VTC operation, fuel economy, and warranty coverage. Choice C is incorrect because aftermarket flush chemicals are not part of the specified oil filter service and can loosen deposits that clog the pickup tube or VTEC VTC screens. They should not be used unless a service procedure calls for them. Choice D is incorrect because engines are filled to the full mark on the dipstick. The dipstick already accounts for normal thermal expansion, so underfilling to the low mark is incorrect.